Welcome back to the part two of our Empires tier list. Now, I've been looking at the comments, at least my one comment. I'm looking at the comments. And then also look at the views. People are really enjoying this. This may turn into more historical tier lists later down the line. I'm here with Connor. Connor, say hi.
Hello there.
And then we are finishing up the rest of these empires. Now, these ones we've already done. Um, so watch part one, because we're not going back through them and doing them again. All right, let's start this off. Let's go to the next one. The fat Timidids. The fat Immidids. The fat Immidids.
The Fatimids.
The Fatimids.
Yes, it's another one of those caliphates, actually.
Of course.
Yes, so the Fatimid Caliphate. I forget which one this is.
It says Ismali for me when I look it up. Probably if you didn't watch part one, well, first of all, what are you doing wrong? Second, that we are ranking these off of scale, influence, and their fall. Let's just make that clear. But next, so from the looks of it, the map, it looks pretty big in scale.
Yeah, I'd say it is the this caliphate does come after the Abbasid Caliphate and the it comes after the Abbasid Caliphate, and it's succeeded by the Ayyubid Caliphate, which we talked about both those last week. And the fun fact about the Fatimid Caliphate is that it actually comes from the claimed descent of Fatima, who was the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, so it's got some interesting perspectives, especially it goes for religious ties. So yeah, some pretty good influence with that. I mean, definitely have to put that in consideration.
So yeah, the Fatimid Caliphate, their rulers are have Arabic descent. It was established with the Kutama Berbers who converted to the Fatimid cause early on and made up its original military forces of the Caliphate.
Okay. For me, I feel like with a lot of these caliphates we've talked about before, I mean, would you consider? I mean, I guess they're considered an empire if they're on this list, but it feels like it's a lot of ideological empires, especially with the caliphates, right? Is it meaning Is it talking about I guess the normal meaning of empire, like militaristic, or is it just talking about idealistic?
So, yes, where what you see on that map is obviously going to be Muslim majority. This also is territory. That also does cover territory as well. It's not just based on religion. It's based on religion and territory. Because if you go back and look at that map, Sicily is actually controlled by the Fatimid Caliphate.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, today it is one of the most Catholic Christian places in the world.
Okay, so this one also here shows the Umayyad and the Abbasid, so it's put in scale. I would say this one's probably a solid B for me. Definitely good amount of chunk of land acquired. Very good influence, especially because this is the daughter, descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, and leading to the Middle East being one of those majority religions. So
they also had a based civil war that kind of broke up their empire in the end and actually led to the Byzantine Empire Romanus III to invade northern Syria. And
after that, A tier.
So Byzantine Empire swooped in during the Civil War and was like, "It's northern Syria is ours."
If you bring in a civil war that brings a more based empire into it, come on, you have to go up at least a little bit. There's a couple extra style points.
See, that section, of course, is the decline section on Wikipedia. Okay. But but the false, the section, the final decline.
Mm-hmm.
It one of the first things I see, even though it's not in the first paragraph, it's in the third paragraph. The first sentence is the Fatimids faced a new external threat, the First Crusade.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, come on. That is leading into a hype train.
So I'm gonna go with A tier for mine as well because
Yeah, like that is leaves up so much like hype.
yes, I
It's
you
hype.
cannot go wrong with you can't go wrong with a good Crusade.
You could never go wrong with a good crusade. Um, oh man, yeah, I feel like definitely that is very good, and also it leads into one of the biggest religious wars too, especially in the fall. So yeah,
Exactly.
and again, with also that great influence, especially bringing something like the First Crusade with power between Christianity and Islam. So yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Next we got Francia. Francia. I actually like Francia.
Frankia, well, I can't dis,
Francia.
I can't dislike him a bunch because Frankia did
Uh,
is credited to have being established like Germany to an extent.
True. Can we find? I'm assuming they're looking for old Francia. So
I mean, if you just want Charlemagne's empire, that
yeah, basically, let's look up Charlemagne. How do you spell Charlemagne? There we go. Charlemagne Empire map. Okay, this is what we got. This is basically what it is.
yes, the Frankish Empire is what's also known as.
It's also a little. This actually looks a little better. So, okay, Frankish Empire. This is what we got. Yeah, this is definitely in a time where you had Roman Empire fall. So you have that scenario. This is probably one of the better empires to come out of Rome's fall, especially how much Roman influence that they had from into Francia, especially when Caesar conquered it and stuff like that.
So
So
yeah, exactly, and it's also one of the last surviving Germanic kingdoms
mm,
from the migration period,
yeah,
uh, and it's you know, of course, whenever people do think of Francia, the first person they think of is Charlemagne
mm.
most of the time.
I mean yeah, 100%. I mean you can't have Charlemagne without Francia. Especially, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, it's like I mean, like you can talk about his like fathers and stuff, like Pippin and the other guy. I can't think of the name right now, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no.
and
Um,
um, but yeah, like I mean, this gives a foundation of what France is gonna be. So that these big influence. It doesn't have much ground to cover, but I would say in this instance, especially like making a future empire, which we're going to talk about next, the French Empire, as well as the people of France today. So for me, I
anyway,
would probably say I would go into a solid A tier. Um, I would say it's probably right here. The Fatimids are probably better, especially that base of war.
I think also too, it's like when the Frankish Empire, when it does eventually collapse, it splits off into the three kingdoms of Western, Middle, and Eastern
Mm-hmm.
Francia,
Yeah.
with West Francia being modern day France for the most part, and East
Mm-hmm.
Francia being modern day Germany for the most part.
Yeah, and always
So
like that struggle that they have too throughout all of
yes,
history.
I agree, and I'm gonna put mine as a B tier just because I know some there's I saw some of the others empires
Mm-hmm.
that we still have to do. So
Yeah.
Frankie is still a good empire,
Mm-hmm. Oh
but yeah,
yeah.
B tier for
Yeah.
me.
All right, next we got the French colonial empire. This one is
Fucking
one of those big ones.
the French Empire. I
Uh,
was it the French colonial
yeah, the
empire?
French colonial empire specifically. This is this actually does not look right. Um, this one probably looks a little more right. Okay, yeah, we got some big ground here. Um, I can make a case for I don't want to say, I guess I'm not going to say what I want to put on the tier list just yet, but I can very make a big case of why it could be at least high up, especially because one, you got all this land here, to the Mississippi. You got lands in Canada. You got stuff in Africa. It's almost as much as you would get with the British Empire. So
True. This also comes at a time too where it what with France's colonial empire.
mm-hmm.
There was, of course, at times when it was a kingdom, but also at times when a republic was actually controlling colonies. Which,
that's like the big difference, especially compared to the British Empire at the time.
so especially compared to most other countries that were colonial at the time, because Britain, of course, had the monarch. Belgium, the Dutch have their monarchs. The Danish have their monarch. It seems like every country that colonized during this time period
Yeah,
was a, a monarchy, except France,
yeah,
and if you want to argue the United States.
and like think about this too, like, and we were talking about with the British Empire how some of those places they still had today. Like think about like Vietnam is on here, and they had Vietnam up until like the 60s, like 50s, 60s.
Around there, yeah.
So like I mean that's pretty influential. They also had some of these like small minor areas too in Africa, and they had a little bit of the Middle East.
Plus, they still have
Yeah,
some of these like smaller islands to this day, in like the Pacific, for example.
and like New Orleans, especially too. New Orleans is made and it has
Yeah.
very French roots. Same with Quebec.
Yes.
They speak French in Quebec as well,
Yep.
and also in Morocco too. Morocco they also speak some French.
Which I find that interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. Um, so yeah, my case I think for me to make a to for me I'm putting it in based. Um, and also there's another like big reason. One, they weren't really big on the slave trade.
No,
Uh, but also is that their tolerance to Native Americans, instead of like kicking them to the curb or making them slaves, they traded with them like fur trading all around the Mississippi and like just basically making like trading huts.
I exactly. It's just like
Yeah,
our backyard too,
yeah, seriously, yeah. I would say that probably
without
that makes it a good case to be in the base category.
yes, without doxing our location.
Yeah, without doxing our location. They like think like all this area around the Mississippi, Ohio River Valley. Like that's kind of like where they were settling, and they just kept getting beaten by a mightier force,
Which was the British
which
Empire.
was the British Empire. I mean, you can't go wrong with the British Empire.
There's a reason why the saying was the sun never sets in the British Empire until
it,
it did.
it's just it is what it is. Where are you gonna put it?
Yeah, for my innate, I'm just gonna put it as an A tier, probably in front of the Fatimids.
Yeah.
I just, at the end of the day, it's France. I'm not going to endorse the French being based.
This is the only. I just let this know. This is the only time I'll ever say the French colonial empire is based because of a lot of modern thinking came about this time that was not there at the time. That's one of the reasons. That's just one reason. Other than that, it's kind of just it is what it is. But France still has the most military victories out of any country. I don't care what you say. Look it up.
Anyways, next one.
Next one, my rant. The Georgian Empire.
Didn't know Georgia had an empire.
I didn't either. Empire. Um,
It looks like, for the most part, the modern day
Georgia
border.
itself.
Yeah, it's just like Georgia, a few of the Caucasus.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting. It looks like basically just like Georgia right now. Also, no one knew Georgia is actually a country. Crazy, right? Uh,
Oh.
but yeah, it just seems like. I mean, this is all they got. um, there is some like parts that says major influence sphere of Georgia. Um,
I would say
some major
they
cities.
according to Wikipedia as well, they were a vassal state of Georgia. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Georgia was a vassal state of the Byzantine Empire.
See, now that just was that wants me to bring it down. If it was a vassal state,
I mean,
that's
in
that's pretty
general,
rough.
in general, it's not a whole. They do have a section based on Wikipedia, of course, about their golden age, where they were able to still maintain its independence from the Byzantine and Seljuk empires.
Yeah.
But
It,
it's it does. I don't. I'm good.
yeah.
I mean, probably in the modern day Caucasus areas, it has major impact just from what's left.
This
But
yeah, from this map here, sorry to cut you off, that they had a couple of vassals for their own, but they were also a vassal of another based empire.
yeah, I think
That's pretty rough.
for me, I'm going to put them in a C tier because
Yeah.
I, I think maybe they were important for the region during the time.
For me, I'm gonna put it in D because it may have had some influence in what is modern day like what Western Asia, but yeah, if they're just a vassal of another base empire that we talked about before, I mean, you've sealed your fate already.
Fair enough.
Next, the German Empire.
S tier, base tier.
Yes.
I'm just,
Do we even need to talk about it?
I'm just, you know,
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
come
love me
on,
my
come
I love me
on.
my German Empire. Last semester, just studying about the rise of the German Empire. It's a
Like,
very
yeah,
interesting
it's
country internally once it formed.
let's think about like all the things that have to deal with just this empire itself. Like, first, it was created by a based man, Bismarck. Yeah, Frenchman called
Yes,
Bismarck. He
that's true.
unified Germany itself, and if like even people were saying if you unify Germany, that is bad news. Like, like France was saying that, Britain was saying that. Like people were scared of Germany coming together.
They
No,
were.
like no one was saying that about Italy. I just want to make that saying. That Italy was doing the same thing at this time. No one was saying that about Italy. Everyone was worried about Germany joining forces.
And well, look what we got, a unified Germany.
A unified Germany. Ins-
Went inside,
I mean, I
and they
think
went
yeah.
wrecked things.
And like, see, look at this like beforehand. Like all these different places. You got Prussia, you got Bavaria, Austria, Bohemia, and like all these like small little areas, and they have one big part of it, like the Kingdom of Prussia, all coming together.
Yes, unifying the first North German states under the Prussian kingdom, and then
Mm-hmm.
fighting
And the Kaiser.
fighting a few wars, fighting a few wars against Austria and
Yeah.
France to unify the entire quote
Yeah.
German lands.
And like the Franco-Prussian War,
Yes, in the Franco-Prussian War.
1870-71. I mean, it's just kind of like one of those things.
It was a
Some nice pictures.
blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
It really how
Um, the only
how much
thing,
fun?
like, I would say that I'm still playing in based. However, we do have to talk about the fall. They got beaten up by France and Britain and the United States. It is what it is, but I don't care. Based.
Base, baba
I,
base.
I again like things that we've talked about before. Like people were afraid of the German Empire like ever coming to be. First, both in World War I and World War II.
World War II German Empire is a little bit different from this
Well,
German Empire.
definitely different. Like just like people are afraid that Germany comes together because it's not a good time.
It's not. It really was. The Western powers were very questionable about it.
You going based?
Based, yes.
It's based. It's based. I mean, come on. Next, we got the Nevids.
Ghaznavids
Yeah,
is how
Jasnivids.
The Ghaznavid Empire is how I assume it's going to be. It said, oh, it comes from Persia.
Okay. Um, this is what I found. Um,
Yep.
okay, so this is it. It says it's in between Middle East and India. Can we find the time frame here?
Uh,
Okay, again a couple times.
uh,
So this is like,
yeah.
yeah.
It lasted
Ah,
from 977 to 1186.
okay. Decent time span. I think this is probably all that it did. I mean, at least at the time, it was also surrounded by big empires, especially with a lot of caliphates. So
Yes,
that's
off the
something to definitely take away from it.
yeah, this empire is also the predecessor to the Seljuk Empire as well. Something that
Some style
it
points.
might yeah a little bit of style points. Plus, the Seljuk Empire is one that I think
Mm,
more people recognize.
yeah. Let's see, decline. Twin sons of Muhammad. Oh. Muhammad left the empire to his son, Mohammed, who was mild and soft. His brother, preserved the empire um, following a disastrous defeat at the Battle of Dandaguan. He lost all the lands in Persia and Central Asia to the Seljuks, plunging Rome into a time of troubles. Um, okay.
They actually went through a Persianization of this of how the government worked.
Uh,
They want they
okay.
wanted to establish more Persian um, culture into the
Yeah.
court system,
Okay.
which that's impressive. If you
Yeah.
they must have found the Persian court system to be fascinating if they wanted to establish it within their own court system.
Mm-hmm. It says they had good trade routes between China and the Mediterranean. They were able to hold power for long, and by 1040, the Seljuk Empire taken over their Persian dominance. And a century later, the Ghurids took over the remaining subcontinental lands. Basically, they were just taken over
Yeah, basically, it
by a
sounds like.
more known empire, the Seljuks. Um, okay, I think I've seen all I wanted to see. I for
Same
me,
here.
I'd probably put it at a C tier. I mean, it seems like they had pretty good stuff in trading and stuff like that, but like there's nothing really much to be desired.
I'm gonna put mine in D tier.
D, yeah, I can agree with that. Um, yeah.
It's like they had the good trade relationships,
Mm,
but I'll give them credit. The Persianization of their court system, that's kind of cool, but
that's kind of cool.
that didn't seem like they really had a chance
Yeah, they just did
of
not have a
lasting.
chance. Um, next we have the Go Turks, the Go
Yes,
Turks,
the Go Turks.
the Go Turks, the Turk Empire. Okay, let's just images here. Um, it's looking like it looks kind of like a Mongolian empire, if I got the right map.
Hey, I'm saying these are the. I was gonna say this is the predecessor to the
Mongolian empire.
Mongolian Empire. Yes,
Okay, so yeah, we're talking big influence here.
correct.
Um, definitely. At least it covers a lot of land. You go from Caspian Sea to all the way to the end there, like the China and the Yellow Seas. Um,
They actually supported the Tang Dynasty during the Civil War that eventually led to the unification of China underneath the Tang Dynasty.
that's pretty good.
And
Hmm.
what's very interesting too is despite them helping the Tang Dynasty become the emperors of China,
Mm.
uh, the was it the Emperor Taizong? He basically turned around and invaded them and conquered them.
Dang. Yeah, I
He
was thinking
literally,
about like, oh, this. I can see this being B tier, which I mean, I might still probably put it in B tier, but yeah, man, that's pretty rough though.
yeah, he was
Um,
able since he was able to pacify the tribes within the Gokturks. He was then able the dynasty in general was able to go and conquer the Mongolian plateau.
okay. I'm looking here on this map too. It shows the Great Wall of China. You know, it literally is a direct map that leads all the way to the end, which is very interesting. So I'm going to assume that there's probably reasons why the Chinese built the Great Wall of China. So,
I mean, I mean, the Great Wall of China, I think, was built way before the Tang Dynasty.
yeah, I'm not quite sure on the top of my head when it was built. For me, I would say it could probably go in B tier. It's a solid B tier.
I
Especially
I
yeah,
I'll say I agree with B tier
yeah.
as well.
Above Francia or
Yeah, yeah, above Frankia for me.
and people are sleeping on Francia. But yeah, I mean, like being a predecessor of a bigger army like the Mongols definitely gives you some street cred. So
Yes,
next is the Golden Horde. Oh yeah.
which is which is one of the successors of the Mongolian
Oh
Empire.
yeah. Oh, we need a good map here. Look at that.
That is his,
Which is
that
this
is
is
the
accurate,
peak.
I would say.
That's accurate. Wait, uh, I'd actually recommend finding a different map.
Is it not accurate?
It
Is this more accurate?
that's not that's not accurate. Uh,
I just want to make it look good. Um, is this
Fair
accurate?
enough. Yes, yeah,
This is more accurate.
that's pretty accurate. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Um, yeah, I mean, come on, like we all know what the Golden Horde is, and like, Mongols and everything like that.
yep.
Um,
I was to say this was one of the successor. Well, this was one of the fragmented states, administrative states after the empire collapsed, and once the empire collapsed, it became its own thing for a very long time.
yeah.
You know,
Um,
it's
mm,
it's going to have its roots in Mongolian heritage,
mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
horses and everything like that.
yeah, definitely horses. Also, I see they have kind of like a tolerance to religion. Like you see, it says religion: Sunni Islam, Tibetan Buddhism, uh,
Yes,
Tengrism, Orthodox Christianity, stuff like that. So definitely
they
one
were
of the first of its kind to have a tolerance to other religions. So that gives it some style points.
they were
Um,
also kind of the ones that were in charge of the Russian territories for the most part.
yeah. Yeah. For me, I think it's. I, I kind of want to put it in base. How did it fall? Do you have a fall?
Let me see. Doo-doo-doo. Uh, the there's multiple reasonings why.
Decline. The Great Troubles.
Yes, the Great Troubles is one of the things that popped up. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like it's multiple things that caused it.
Revolts against the Khan, stuff like that. Um, okay.
It does just most. I'm going to say the Great Troubles is what did it in mostly.
Mm, Great Troubles. Those Great Troubles.
Yeah, at this point, it's just from what it seems like, it's just a lot of the
Yeah.
Russian territories finally saying enough's enough
And
and
also, you see, like, right
fighting back.
here, it kind of, like, splits off, I guess.
Yeah,
Blue and White Horde.
yes, I
So,
do see that.
yeah. Um, yeah, I would say this is a solid 8 tier for me. I would say it probably goes top.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, like, we're like reaching our way to the base Mongol Empire. That,
very true.
yeah. So like we're getting there. Where are you putting it?
I would have to put it in A tier as well.
are we putting it?
I'm going to put it above the French colonial empire.
Really? Nah.
Yes.
People are sleeping on the French. Hey, I don't like French as much as the next American. You gotta admit, in their time they were based.
Never. I will never admit
Never
that.
accept it. Next, we have the Gupta Empire.
Yes, this could be like the first, one of the, not one of the first, but it's gonna be one of the
Major
this is one of the major
ones.
Indian empires.
Yeah. All right. Actually, no. This one looks better. Okay, so they got basically northern India.
Yes, they
Uh,
lasted from the 4th century to the 6th century.
okay.
Um, uh, this period was considered the golden age of India by some historians.
Okay, that definitely gives us some style points.
Correct. The high points of this period are the great cultural developments which took place during reigns of certain leaders, Hindu epics and literary sources, and many great scholars of the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm. It did eventually, the empire eventually died out because of factors such as substantial loss of territory and imperial authority caused by their own erstwhile feudatories, as well as the invasion of, I guess, a subgroup, a certain type of group within the Huns from Central Asia. And after its
Usual.
collapse, and after the Gupta Empire collapsed, India was ruled by several regional kingdoms once again.
Usual stuff. I was seeing this one here. It says Gupta Dynasty, Golden Age of Peace and Enlightenment. It's definitely
Yes,
like, at least that's kind of like where we're going towards in terms of like influence. This is like one of the major parts of Indian history.
correct. I agree with
So,
that.
um, for me, it's gonna have to go. I mean, it didn't seem like they really didn't do anything based, but I mean, I guess if you want to count like peace and enlightenment, I'd put it bottom of base for me. As it seems
Mm,
like definitely like being the gold, like a golden age of anything of a continuing country.
that
Um,
is true.
that I mean, like you kind of almost I don't want to say you're given base status, but at least like you have a case for base status.
I'll put the Gupta Empire in the A tier above the French colonial empire.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'd say it's a pretty solid spot for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Next, we got the Han Dynasty. Now we're getting to the Chinese.
Yes, the Chinese dynasty.
Han Dynasty map. Okay. There's the Han Dynasty territory. So, we got here the Great Wall of China. We got a couple of parts of it. The borders of modern China. So we actually can see it from China today, which is kind of nice to know. Is this the third dynasty of China at this time?
Yes, this is the third
Third one.
dynasty. This is one of the longest dynasties, I believe.
I think it is too. And is this right? This is the one before the Warring States period, right?
Yes, and this is the one that comes after the building of the Great Wall of China, too, actually.
So definitely, I mean, building the Great Wall of China in your dynasty definitely gives you some style points. Which again, big influence. But
Yes, big influence, too. I agree.
yeah, big influence. Obviously, because like I'm sure when everyone thinks about Chinese history, they just think about the Great Wall of China. But I'll be honest here.
They during the reign of Emperor Wu and onwards,
Mhm.
Chinese monarchies officially sponsored Confucianism in education and politics, which was a
Definitely
policy
big.
that endured until the fall of the Qing dynasty in 1912.
That's neat. Yeah, I mean that goes far. Like, what time frame are we talking about here?
So
Like
a few hundred,
yeah,
quite a
quite a
few
few
many
hundred
hundreds of
years.
years, I would say.
So,
And
well, like 202 BC to like 9 AD, 25 to 220 AD is what I got here. So and all the way going up to almost like 1,000 years in the future here. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Plus, to the spoken Sinitic language and the written Chinese of today are
Yeah.
referred to respectfully as the Han language or Han characters.
Yeah, I'd say this has got to be in a base, especially of all the improvements that were done in this time frame, especially of how
Plus
long
two,
lasting too.
right? Plus,
So
plus two, this happens to be modern day China's majority ethnic group of Han Chinese.
yeah, stuff like that. Can we find a end? Okay, yeah. There's the rebellions, stuff like that. And that is formerly okay.
Hmm.
The changing of basically emperors. Yeah. And then this turned into the Three Kingdoms period. So that if your empire was so big and lasted so long, that ended up causing like an uproar when you were gone, like when you're taken out, basically. Like, I would say you made a pretty good case for yourself.
Honestly, yeah, and the fact that it took this long for your dynasty to collapse.
Especially, yeah, like think about like what Roman Empire is. It goes from 753 alleged 753 BC to around like 4 or 500 AD, give or take. This one goes on from 202 BC to 220 AD. That's 1,000 years
They did a
on
good job
itself.
for themselves.
That's
They did a
legit.
really good job.
Oh, that's like literally just like 1,000 years and just a couple change.
Yeah,
So like that's like really good. Yeah, it's gotta go base for me. I would
yeah, it's good.
I'd probably say probably top of based. This is probably one.
Base
It's like
tier.
one of the longest lasting empires that are on this list.
So yeah, it's gonna be the top of base tier for me as well.
Yeah, like I mean, you can't beat the allegations.
No, you cannot.
All right, the Hittites,
The Hittites.
the Hittites. Hittites. I've heard about the Hittites, especially from the Bible.
I would say yes, they are definitely mentioned in the Bible
Yeah,
a good bit.
this does not look right.
This was one of the first major empires of the Bronze Age.
So yeah, oh, this actually could bring a good case to put up a high on this, because this also could have a direct influence to the what is the Trojans in the Iliad. Um,
Yes, that is
so
that is
especially
true.
with the Mycenaeans being discovered, they found what could have been Troy, like around this area, where
Oh yeah,
Troy could be.
it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Plus plus also to whenever the Hittite itself during the collapse of the late Bronze Age,
Mm-hmm.
they split into several smaller states,
Okay.
which went on to continue until they were conquered by the Neo-Assyrian Empire.
Okay. But like they kind of like retained a Hittite autonomy. I'm assuming when they split off.
Yeah, like they still had that
Hittite,
Hittite culture
the,
recognition,
the
whatever that
Hittite
you may.
mindset.
That is also one way to put it.
Have that Hittite mindset. Actually, this looks like a lot better map. See, like we have Mycenae here. We have what
Yeah,
would be Troy, right there. Um, so I would say for me, it's going to at least go up in A tier, especially because of the ideas that we had of it. I'm going to probably put it above Frankia, especially if like its influence caused by possible Trojan connections to one of the most famous stories of all of not even just Greek history, just history in general.
I agree
So
with that.
yeah, where would you put it?
For me, I'm probably going to put it. I'll probably put it in the B tier actually.
High, low, middle.
Uh, High, the highest
High.
one.
Yeah, that makes
For me,
sense.
I'm not much of the ancient civilization guy,
Yeah,
but I do gotta respect the
gotta respect the
importance
part.
of the Hittites.
100%. Next, oh man, we got the Holy Roman Empire. Oh jeez,
I have very
I have very base.
I
I'm gonna
very
say based opinions about it.
I
This is the Holy Roman Empire.
yes,
It was
and
not
I
holy. It was not Roman. It's not an empire.
correct. It was a collection of states that would eventually, make up Germany and the Netherlands and Belgium and
Yeah.
Switzerland
It
and a
just
bunch
has
of
like
other
its
places.
own random things. It's just a
They
conglomeration of nothing.
they did. I mean, influence. I mean, technically, it
Yeah,
would
like
make it brought the Habsburg dynasty to
definitely.
into play.
Also, you talk about like its ties with the papacy too,
Yes,
being a factor, especially when it goes to nominating kings, especially when a dynasty dies out. Um, and
true,
also
and
like its connection with papacy around other places at the time, like Britain, France, Spain, Portugal.
there's also technically a voting system too within the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah,
Even though they don't, even though like they only ever really elected the leader of the Habsburg dynasty.
I think this is the perfect not to describe the Holy Roman Empire. Just like these kingdoms, lordships, principalities. It's just a bunch of. It's not one big unified empire. Maybe even
It's a
this is better. This is better.
that is the eyesore map
That
to
is
rule
what
all
am I
eyesore
looking at?
maps.
Um,
Ugh.
for me, it's gonna. I'm gonna take it to D tier because of one again. I don't consider it as an empire. Actually, no. I won't put it in F because it did do some things like voting and stuff and the influence of the papacy. I'm gonna put it in E. It's probably
I'm
the
gonna
lowest I
put
go.
I'm gonna put it in E tier as well. Honestly,
Again, like it's just a conglomeration of nothing. Especially because it's not holy, it's not Roman, it's not an empire. It's like
correct.
it's a confederation. So it's trying to become something that it isn't. So
I agree. They
next
did their they did their best.
next the Huns, the Hun
Boo,
Empire.
boo, boo,
Um,
boo, boo,
I'm
boo,
gonna
boo.
assume Attila the Hun Empire. We could put that in. Um, no,
Man,
this is.
they're my they're my favorite destroyer of Rome.
I mean, it's good. This is an empire, all right. Um,
Yep,
yeah, I would say this is a pretty accurate representation of what it is.
I agree. I think
So it's pretty good.
that's a pretty good map to.
Um, especially, I'd say this definitely has some major influence for the reasons being the reason why Rome fell is because Attila is attacking, going from east to west, taking out like bringing the Goths and the Visigoths over into Roman territory, leading to the downfall of the Roman Empire.
Yep, they're just like pecking at the borders almost.
Basically,
So many fights they're doing.
stuff like that. Um, this looks a little better too. This is at its greatest extent.
Yes,
So
that is. I mean, it's like you can't
and
deny what was going on there.
And you can even make a case after Rome fell with the Orthodox and the Visigoths, they basically put themselves in the shoes of those areas and formed what is now today France, Britain, France, Britain, Germany, all those other things.
Yeah, I mean they ruled over the Western Roman Empire's territories
Yeah,
for a while too.
yeah, and also I tell you how base character. Literally a third of Mongolia is descended to him directly.
That is true.
Which is a major problem if you would think about it in Mongolia, but he's based. So, yeah, for me, it's definitely, I would say it's second to based. Because obviously the Han Dynasty, I mean, how long it stood, as we were saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Where are you putting it?
For me, I'm probably going to put the Huns in base tier as well,
Put it in the same place or
above the German Empire.
both term? Yeah. I mean, yeah, and also you have like the great ideas of Attila the Hun being like this big, huge, influential figure on the battlefield, and also like the mystery behind him too, in terms of where his body's at, and like I mean like I don't have to go too far because we have a lot of empires to go off of, but
It's kind of like he's a larger than life character.
yeah, he's a larger than life character. There's a certain spot in Mongolia where it is said that he is buried. So when the people that were burying him, they didn't want to know. Like people didn't want to know where Attila's burial was. So they killed people that buried them, and they killed the people. They killed the people that buried them. So no one would ever
Now,
know.
no one will ever know where he's buried until eventually one day we do find it.
But yeah, so like it's supposed that he's buried in a spot that is a very ritualistic spot that Attila would always go, but it's not proven because it's very spiritual, so that people don't do a bunch of work on it. But
Right.
next, the Incan Empire, back to the Americas.
Snap back to reality.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely has some very big influence, especially in terms of American history.
That's true.
I say this one looks good. Like Machu Picchu, Cusco, the capital. Um, yeah, like we
Some,
didn't find Machu Picchu until like what, the 40s, 30s, 20s, maybe.
oh, I forget exactly when they uncovered Machu Picchu. I
But
don't
yeah, and
remember exactly.
I want to say who was it? Francisco Pizarro was the guy that conquered
Yes.
the Incas. Yeah,
Yes,
and
Francisco Pizarro.
in like it took them a while to get up here in terms of like there are people. These people are like living in the sky, especially in Machu
Yeah,
Picchu.
they're living in the mountains, plus they put up fierce resistance to
Mhm.
being conquered by Spain to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, like don't want to say the Aztecs didn't like fight back, but like these guys have like, at least the Incan Empire put a lot more effort
Right.
into it. So and
They did
also
their
like
best.
yeah, I'm trying to think some like other things like yeah like I want to say there's like a thing too where it's like they ate some sort of thing that like would oxygenate their bodies so they're able
I,
to maintain the altitude that them living up there.
I have never heard of that, but I
I
don't
I'm
doubt it because of how.
don't quote me on it, but I think it's something I heard that's like that. It's like they had some sort of oxygen thing that oxygenated their bodies, so they are able to stay in that high altitude in places like Machu Picchu and Cusco. So,
Interesting. Very
which is super cool.
interesting.
Like especially like thinking like these people as barbaric, even though like they have all this like information.
Right.
So especially like stuff like llamas. No,
You can never go wrong with a good llama.
you can never go wrong with a llama.
I can't believe they created the creature from Fortnite.
The creature from Fortnite. Like yeah, look at this. Like they're even their house, like their uh, oh, what's it called? Like their architecture. Yeah, architecture. Like the stone house with like the straw top. You know,
Plus,
something.
to their ending was a little bit sad because what helped lead to the Spanish conquest areas, of
Mm.
course, not just the disease that was brought over to, but there's actually a
Yeah.
civil war between two brothers on, I believe, who should rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah.
was a between who should rule, and Spaniards supported one side, helped the other side win, but then they're just like, haha,
Killed him.
you're ours now.
This is a picture of Machu Picchu here. So like you can see like the clouds are going through it too, giving like that kind of like sick vibe that of the looks of this
It's just
place. And
just really nice.
yeah, think about like you being part of the Incan Empire and just having this view every day.
Oh, I love that.
That's so beautiful to think about, and like all these like little houses and stuff too. That's super cool. Um, for me, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna go based for me. I'm gonna probably put it um, above the French colonial empire.
All right.
It's
For
pretty
me,
based, especially like all the things that are they have about it.
true, that's true. But for me, I think I'm gonna put mine in C tier.
See, oh, top or bottom?
above Georgian Empire.
What- Any explanation, or it is what it
The
is?
ex, I think they had, obviously they had all this stuff, the cool stuff about them,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, they were conquered by the Spanish.
As things happen. We'll get to the
Yes, just
Spanish right here. We'll get to the Spanish. Um, Next, we have the Italian Empire.
yeah,
Oh, oh man. The Italian Empire map.
one of the smallest empires you could claim, really.
Well, like, can we say that, yeah, this is a pretty accurate representation of it.
That is accurate because that's 100% what it was.
This is in World War II. Mussolini. Um, so,
Even pre World War II, too,
yeah,
some
even
of this
like pre World
territory.
War II. And okay, it has the same ideas as the German, no, German unification, but just not as based. Like,
They also
uh,
wanted more. They wanted more territories to actually make themselves a colonial empire too.
yeah, yeah. They were pretty late in the colonization game.
That
Um,
is true. Hence why they had to go after Ethiopia.
Poor Ethiopia. Yeah, I mean, just like this is like a former shell of what was the Roman Empire.
It really was. They was really Benito Mussolini's effort to be like, hey, we're still great, even though we're not like the Roman Empire anymore.
I love how every single time people try to bring back the Roman Empire, it just ends up making it worse.
Yeah, honestly.
The Holy Roman Empire, this one.
This ain't
Oh
no Holy Roman Empire. I mean,
man,
the Roman Empire. It's not a Holy Roman Empire or a Roman Empire.
it's not holy. It's not Roman. It's not an empire. Already discussed.
Yeah.
Case closed. But
Yes.
and like think about even too like this is probably the like think about on like the side of Hitler during World War II. This is probably the worst person to ally with.
I mean, that's his only choice.
This was his only choice. But he had Japan. He couldn't really get anyone else, and he screwed
He
up.
conquered everyone else in Europe.
It's like he screwed up with Stalin.
True. Very true.
So yeah, I mean, this one's definitely low for me. I'm gonna put it in D tier.
I agree. I'm going to have to put that in D tier as well.
That's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, like, this is just disgraceful, especially for a European empire in quotations.
Very true.
That's rough. Next, we got Japan.
Here comes here comes me.
Yeah. Okay. We
Dude,
need
the
to
Empire of Japan at its greatest extent, not including what they were. Well, that's the invasion of China
Is
during
this
World War
accurate?
II. That is,
That's pretty accurate. We'll say that
yeah,
this was at its peak during World War II.
yes. This was
Um,
after Japan invaded China during World War II.
I'm gonna make a very good case to put at least above B, at least like B or above, because
Definitely putting it above B.
yeah, like think about like at this time like at least like 19th century, like late 19th century, they were like well like okay, first they were forced in to trade with the United States. First, the United States is
Yes,
pretty base for that, so it kind of just it is what it is. Then during like the late 19th century, they were in the Russo-Japanese War. They absolutely destroyed the Russians, which like you'd think you could never destroy the Russians at that time. A small little group of people that is like on an island took out one of the biggest empires at the time.
we're the first Asian empire to ever defeat a European empire.
Exactly, and then later on, like, wait, did they make us? Did they make a stance in World War One? I think they did, didn't they?
What was that? What was the question?
Like, did they make a stance in World War One? Like, which side they were on? Was it on the
Yeah, they were on the
Allies?
Allies during World
Yeah.
War One.
So I mean, they do flip sides a lot. Then
You know,
World War II. This is one of like the big three of the Axis powers. Um,
yeah,
uh, Pearl
this is
Harbor.
them at the per, yes, Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
But no, the map that you have up right now,
It's
that
pretty
is their
cool.
highest extent during World War II. That's as far as they got in the invasion of China.
Yeah.
What's actually really interesting too is whenever Japan was forced to trade with the United States,
Mm-hmm.
they started modernizing like rapid fire because
Yeah.
they they when it came to like naval stuff, they
Mm-hmm.
had the British teaching them naval stuff. When it came to the army, they had the French training them until they eventually switched to the Germans because the German model was better than the French model at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so militarily, they were able to just ramp up fast.
Yeah.
Up politically, even though politically, some of the stuff that we have, like government and society, like terms that we know today,
Mm.
Japanese society at that time didn't really have too much that worked well with
Mm-hmm.
them, but they were still able to somehow form political parties and come up with a constitution for Japan,
Oh
even though
yeah.
they that society didn't really have many terms for what we have.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, think about it too. Like, this is like the first. I would want to say the first Asian nation to start modernizing as well. Like, I wouldn't. I don't think the Chinese were really doing that as much. I wouldn't even say the Koreans weren't even doing that either.
Because Korea was occupied by Japan.
Yeah, so occupied by Japan. So, um,
Yes, no, that's one of the
yeah.
one things is that
Um, we have to.
Europe was
Yes, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Um, the fall of Imperial Japan. Um, the two bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Uh, so
plus the invasion of Manchuria by Joseph Stalin.
yeah, so it kind of just it is what it is. Um, Anime, big influence.
Yes, I mean some of these
Yeah,
Japanese companies that we have today, like Nintendo.
Nintendo, Sony.
Nintendo Nintendo was founded in the 1800s.
I know there's a toy company.
Now look how they're going today.
Yeah,
Uh,
Sony.
doing Sony too. I
Yeah,
forget when Sony was created, but
I forget. I would say for me it's probably top of A. It's not quite
I,
base because they did get pretty hardcore taken down by the Americans.
I'm definitely going to go top of A for Japan as
Top
well.
of A. Yeah, you got that. Add that part in. All right, look, Khazar Khaganate. Khaganate?
Czar Cognate.
How you spell that again? It's Khazar. Okay, so it's like Kazakhstan. Okay.
I would say yeah. That's where I mean that's eventually where the Kazakh people end up.
Mm. Okay. Is it Jewish?
Not entirely sure. Let's
Um,
see the Khazars, nomadic Turkic people established major commercial empires that
mm-hmm.
covered southeastern modern Russia, Ukraine, Crimea, and Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm.
Created they created what for its duration was the most powerful polity to emerge from the breakup of the Turkic Khaganate. Uh,
Oh.
it had it was a played a central role in the Silk Road, and also because that
Okay.
they played a central role between trade in China, the Middle East, and the
Yeah.
in Ukraine.
So, yeah, I mean, like big influence, especially Silk
Yeah,
Road.
it was also kind of used as a buffer state between the Byzantine empires and the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates as well.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of Jewish. Like, and when I look this up, it's just I'm getting a lot of stuff about Judaism.
Yeah, they had there's a number of people. It was a lot of people lived in that area, and
Mm-hmm.
that and part of that they have what was a group of Jewish people
Cousins.
called the Mountain Jews, according to Wikipedia.
The Mountain Juice.
Yes, that is what
That's,
Wikipedia says.
that's crazy.
And also, um, and eventually it would make a core of what is today's Ashkenazi Jews as well.
Mm. It's about 89%. I don't know if this is a meme, but it's a meme. From Ashkenazi Jew converted around 760 AD from Khazar, Georgia, about 800 miles from Israel. They converted, and we are not Semites. Um, this is going down too far. Okay. I would say it's pretty solid, but it doesn't seem like. I mean, the only really got is like trade and stuff. So I'd say
Yeah.
I would put it top of C for me.
I'll put it in
Trade
C tier as
top
well.
of C or middle.
I'll put it in the middle.
Middle. Yeah. KB is better than Incan Empire. Let me tell you that. All right. The Khmer Empire.
That sounds like we're
KHMER.
going to be in Southeast Asia.
Yep. Back to Southeast Asia.
It was a Hindu Buddhist empire. Holy cow, they were both Hindu and Buddhist.
Mm. So religious tolerance. Okay. Nice.
We love that.
Mm-hmm. We love that here. Um.
It ruled over they ruled or vassalized most of mainland Southeast Asia and
Hmm.
stretched as far north as southern China. That's impressive.
That is impressive. I'm trying to
At
find
its
a good map of it.
at its peak, the empire was larger than the Byzantine Empire, which existed around the same time.
That's pretty
Holy
rough.
cow.
I'm only getting this map basically.
That's essentially what I'm getting to.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Basically like Vietnam area, Laos, Cambodia.
Yes,
Um,
directly over Cambodia.
yeah. So, um, okay. We got any like cool things that they do? You said it was bigger than the Byzantine Empire
During that time, yes, at
during
their
that
peak.
time. So, if we're looking at the time that this was here, like 1,431, it is by the time the Byzantine Empire is declining. So, you know,
It makes sense that they're larger than the Byzantine Empire at this point.
yeah,
Gripped
declining
Byzantines.
for Byzantines. It's okay. It says among the 27 rulers of Kamboja, 11 lacked a legitimate claim to power, and violent power struggles were frequent. Um, you know, the input of Buddhist ideas also conflicted and disturbed with the state order built under Hinduism. So like
Oh,
religious problems with also like lack of power claim basically took it
oh,
down. So
they really said, let's just throw everything into the decline of this empire.
yeah, for me it's probably also going to C. Um, I'd say I'd probably put it middle C.
I would have put mine in C tier as well.
Really? Mm, yeah,
Above Georgia.
but yeah, nothing can be as good as Georgia. Like, no, nothing can be lower than Georgia. All right, we got Korea.
Oh,
The
the Korean Empire.
Korean Empire. We're now getting into the some big things here. All right, so this is what I am getting. Which I don't know if this exactly is right.
That is not what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Is this better?
I think uh, that's like ancient Korea.
That's ancient Korea. Here, let's scroll down here. I can just probably put the map
The Korean Empire is basically,
here.
for the most part, yeah.
It's just
That's
Korea.
what the picture is. Yes,
It's basically just what Korea is today. So
yes. So
you can make a case for that for being pretty influential, but they did end up splitting off. So look at that as you will.
very true.
Um,
But no, they had
yeah.
it was an independent empire from 1897 to 1910, And then
Then the Japanese came in.
yes, at that point, that's when Japan kind of came in and took over
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah, it kind of just is what it is. Um, do they have like anything good influentially?
I mean, it's fortunate like the ancient Korean empires would have a lot,
Mm.
uh, has a lot of that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Civil rights and the Independence Club. They got an Independence Club.
Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Officials nor people shall depend upon foreign aid, but shall do their best to strengthen and uphold the imperial power. Yeah.
they the Korean Empire was advancing itself because of Western reforms, but
Mm-hmm.
then eventually they had to halt. Eventually, those reforms were halted due to Japanese interference in the way
Japanese
of
interference.
invasion.
One of the key problems of the Korean Empire was its foreign affairs. Despite its official neutrality, the country had made many policies that favored the Russian Empire. Russia frequently intervened in Korea, and many of Korea's natural resources were sent to Russia. Hmm, interesting.
Interesting.
Um, okay. Um, so yeah, it seems like they were really like doing some things. Um,
They were active internally.
yeah. Um, so, um, yeah, I would say this is probably back in C as well. It just seems like a little. That's probably. I'm gonna say probably is bottom for me. I mean, it made what Korea is today, like both North and South Korea. Um, just felt like it was just. It's like one of those like empires where it's like they just gave the name to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go C tier as well for me.
Yeah. Bottom or.
No, I'll put it above Georgia.
You're really dogging on Georgia. Uh, oh yeah, we got the big one, the Macedonian Empire. We're talking about the big one here.
We love the Macedonian Empire.
Macedonian Empire. We gotta talk about how big this thing is. Look at it. Look at it.
Copy.
It's spanning from Greece all the way into India.
We don't even need to talk about it. It's instantly
It's
based.
based. Alexander the Great did all this himself
And then died.
and died. But he did this.
Literally, he
I'm
did
sorry.
do.
I'm sorry, Han Dynasty. Macedonia is more based than you.
I agree. Macedonia is definitely more based.
And so we got our first based boy, Philip II of Macedon, which first went in and took all of Greece. Then we got Alexander the Great, who came in, destroyed the Persian Empire, by the way.
And it said, I want more.
And he says, I want more. Takes over the Egyptian Empire, if you really want to call it an empire at the time.
Egypt was part of Persia at the time.
Yeah, so like, yeah. And then, basically, staged in operations in Babylon. Then just kept moving on and just lost in India because of elephants. So it is what it is. And then while he was walking back, he got sick and then he died.
And then the empire split big time.
Yeah, especially with all of his with all of his generals.
Yes, that is
So,
true.
and it leads to the great mystery of where Alexander the Great's tomb is.
It's actually in Arabia.
Is it actually?
I don't know, but that's what
At,
I'd do. I'd
at
bury him.
least
I'd bury him somewhere that's not a part of the empire.
the theory goes there's a little like monolith, like not monolith, like a tomb. Let's just say that, like a tomb somewhere in Alexandria. Also, think about the many places that are also named Alexandria
True,
in this
that is very
empire.
true.
That's also a big thing. But
Literally, literally every place he went, there would be some place named
some
Alexandria.
Alexandria. But yeah, there's like a tomb somewhere in Alexandria. They had his tomb until something happened. It was like a revolt that happened in Egypt. in Alexandria specifically, that they moved his tomb somewhere else and it was not documented. But it was supposedly documented in the lighthouse of Alexandria that got destroyed in a flood, or like it just got destroyed in like not it wasn't an earthquake, it was like a tsunami kind of.
It was a sad day.
It was a sad day. So we don't know where his body is at, but there's theories. So, anyways, based. Look,
I mean,
and this is the splitting up of all the empires. The Seleucid, the Mauryan, Ptolemaic, Macedon itself, and all of this stuff.
yeah, the four major those were like
Yeah.
some of the four major ones.
Yeah. But I would say this is probably the one. This is probably like one of like people like at least at this time. This is probably all that people really knew about what the world was. So I can make the claim that technically Alexander the Great conquered the known world at the time.
At least that part of the world, yeah.
Yeah, this part of the
Because
world. And like again, think about how gigantic this is. Like this is
it is
from
really huge.
like can you like what place two or three Americas on the way
Probably,
there?
yeah. Probably two, at least two Americas, I'd
At
say.
least two Americas. So yeah,
God damn.
yeah, huge. I gotta stop. I gotta stop hyping up Alexander the Great. As I'm really hyping him up. Oh yeah, this is before the baseness happened. This is under Philip the Second. So, but all right, yep, base. Next, Maja Patti.
Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Yeah,
Maybe
Maja.
Majafit.
Uh, I think this is. Oh, I think we got the right one. Empire map. Looks like we're looking at our first one that is in the Philippines.
The Majafit was a a Hindu Buddhist empire in
Mm.
Southeast Asia that was based out of the island of Java.
Okay, which is
Lasted
pretty
for
accurate.
Yes,
Yeah. So okay.
lasted from 1293 to 1527.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, had its golden age was marked by multiple conquests that extended throughout Southeast Asia.
Okay. Based.
A lot of it was overseas empire, as well as like a lot of overseas territory,
Yeah.
technically, with how the islands are.
Yeah. Um.
Uh, it was one of the last major Hindu Buddhist empires of the region. It is considered to be one of the greatest and most powerful empires in the history of Indonesia in Southeast Asia. It is sometimes seen as the precedent for Indonesia's modern day boundaries.
Definitely some big influence there.
Yes,
I'd say it's a solid A for me. I'd probably put it right here because Japan.
I'd probably put this as a B tier.
B tier for you.
Yeah, top of the B tier.
B tier. Do you have any ideas about it, or like it didn't feel like it really did much. I could
It's
say
just a
that.
cool empire. I just find it to be cool.
It's just cool. It's definitely not. I mean, it's not totally based, but it's cool. The Malacca, or Malassa,
Malacca.
Malacca. Let me find out how to spell it again. Mala. Okay, Malacca.
It was it was a sultanate based out of the modern day state of Malacca, Malaysia. um,
Okay.
um, most the conventional idea is that it was founded in the year 1400.
Mm. Okay, so another
Uh,
sultanate.
yes,
you know.
it was became a very large international trading port. Emerged as a center for Islam learning and dissemination of Islam, encouraged development of its own language, literature, and arts.
Okay, so it's got some like knowledge influence. No, okay, some good stuff.
And, and in the year 1511, the capital of Malacca fell to Portugal,
Mhm.
forcing the last sultan of the Malacca Sultanate to retreat south, where his progenies established new ruling dynasties, Johor and Perak.
Hmm. Interesting.
I do find that really interesting.
Okay. You got some like little like town things. It's kind of a pretty nice looking town.
I would say,
Um,
especially too, if the importance of its trading as well.
because I've seen a lot of pictures of the Strait, the Malaysian Strait here, like the Malacca
Yes,
Straits. Because definitely
there
there's a lot of stuff coming in through here.
was a very prosperous sultanate because of
Mm-hmm.
all the trading they did.
Yeah, so for me, I'm probably gonna go right here with that. It seems like definitely very influential in terms of religious factors of bringing Islam to a different area of the world. Where it also like so pretty much resides a lot in today, and bring a lot of like education. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, you're absolutely right there.
where are you putting it?
I'm gonna have to put it in A tier for me as well.
Same place.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. The Mali Empire. So Africa.
yes, sir. We're going to Africa.
We're going to Africa. So
Samana.
it doesn't look that big, at least from this picture, which could, this looks a little more
Yes.
accurate.
Yeah, no, that is accurate. That it was not the largest empire. It lasted from 1226 to 1670,
Oh.
and it became renowned for one of its rulers, Mansa Musa.
Ah, yes, Mansa Musa.
Such
Yes.
a such a rich man.
Yeah, such a base name too. Look at these castles too. Like, would you say this is made out of sand or like
It
dirt or like
clay sand, I believe.
clay, something like that? Is it led by like I guess the emperor? Okay.
I was gonna say, I think those are mosques. I believe some of those are mosques.
Mosques. Okay, so yeah, this also has some of Islamic areas. So
Yes, obviously, yes. It had a
history.
large Muslim influence.
Mm, if you could find, so it says divided. Um, so it got divided up to a bunch of other areas. Um, so
Interesting.
basically, kind of just like it basically kind of just like fell off. Sack of Niani. Um, so then that's when this guy Mama Magnan abandoned the capital. Basically, it just seems the like a coup or a certain attack happened.
Had like a lot of
Yeah,
internal strife.
yeah, stuff like that. It doesn't. I mean, it seems like it's interesting, but I would say probably not as interesting as ones up here on the high tier list. So I'd probably at least top of C. For me, it seems very interesting.
That's a fair placement, I'd say.
Top of C for you.
I'm gonna
Oh,
put it. I'm gonna put it above the Khazar. Yeah.
oh yeah, that's good. I was like, when I was looking at your list, I was like, you can't put it at top of the Incans.
No, I'm gonna bully the Georgian Empire still.
Yes, bully the Georgian Empire. Everyone, bully Georgia. um,
Poor Georgia.
the Mamluks.
Oh, they're in Egypt.
Mamluks. Okay, Egyptian Empire. Okay. This is like a what's it called? Like a different like control of Egypt.
Yes, it's not
Okay.
an actual Egyptian empire.
It's really yeah. Hold on the Mamluk.
Yes. The Mamluk Sultanate was a state that ruled Egypt, the Levant, and the Hejaz from mid 13th to early 16th century.
Mm-hmm.
It was ruled by a military caste of Mamluks, which are freed slave soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
headed by a sultan. the Sultanate was established with the overthrow of the Ayyubid dynasty in Egypt in 1250 and was conquered by the Ottoman Empire in 1517. Mamluk
Yeah.
history is generally divided into the Turkic and Badri period and the Circassian-Aburgi period, called after the predominant ethnicity or cores of the ruling Mamluks during these respective
Yeah.
eras.
So yeah, it gets taken over by the Ottoman Empire. I think that gives me a good case to where I want to put it. It seems interesting, but I feel like if you get taken over by the Ottomans, the
Yeah, I would say yeah. These are the this group came about after the fall of the Ayyubids that we talked about in the last episode,
so,
last
actually,
part.
no, I'm gonna put it higher than the Georgians because Georgians.
I think I think I'm going to have to put this in D tier as well.
D tier. Okay. Above, middle, below,
Below.
below. Yeah. Um, we're gonna have to make a part 3 for this. I'm starting to look at this now. Oh my goodness, we still have not scratched the surface of how many empires we have.
We've gone through like an hour and a half now. We're close to it.
Is it really? Is it an hour and
Yeah,
a
it's
half now?
close to it, I feel.
We're at hour 21 right now.
Okay.
So I would say let's go up until at least Napoleonic Empire because I really want to get to that. And then
All right, yeah. That's
part
fair.
3, we'll finish it up.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. And this is like long. The the Maratha
Maratha.
Empire. All right. Based in India, it looks like. Okay, looks like the empire basically that we would see connected to when the British come.
Yes, so the Marathan Empire, or
Yeah.
later referred to as the Maratha Confederacy, was an early modern Indian empire and later a confederation that controlled large portions of the subcontinent in the 18th century. It formally began its rule in 1674 with the coronation of Shivaji of the name I cannot pronounce dynasty. Uh, the Maratha Empire included warriors, administrators, and other nobles from the Maratha and several other castes from what is known today as Maharashtra, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Jeez. Definitely seems like they're splitting off at least government from a nominal ruler and then a prime minister, which is interesting.
Which that would make
So,
sense because it becomes a confederation later on.
Yeah, definitely something very interesting. So, definitely, I would say this is probably.
It's a very interesting empire.
It definitely seems very influential in terms of like establishing basically what India is and like its beliefs and values and stuff like that.
Right, especially like we said earlier, it just looks like the borders of India by the time the British arrived.
Yeah,
That's
it's taken over by the British. So
the British
say,
East India Company, I believe, is what takes it over.
I'd say it'll go B. I don't have a real long B. It's either the base or not for me.
Fair enough.
It's like it's either you're it or you're not.
It's nerf or nothing,
That's
so
right.
to speak.
Where are you putting it?
Ooh, let's see. I'm going to put mine in the B tier as well.
What were you thinking?
I'm going to put it below Francia.
Below Francia. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it is what it is what it is. Yeah.
Right.
Next, the Maurya Empire.
The Maurya Empire.
Maurya Empire.
It's another Indian-based empire.
I spell it Maurya Empire. There you go. Another Indian-based empire.
Yep. It was a Iron Age power in South Asia. Founded in 322 BC and existed in loose-knit fashion until 185 BCE. The empire was centralized by the conquest of the Gangetic Plain. Its capital city was located in modern-day Patna.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the geographical extent was dependent on the loyalty of military commanders who controlled the armed cities scattered within the empire.
Yeah.
Um, the famous ruler Soka ruled this empire and briefly controlled the major urban hubs and arteries of the subcontinent,
Mm-hmm.
excepting the deep south of the subcontinent.
Mm. They
And it
also like.
declined for
Oh, wait. Continue. Yeah, I'll go. Sure. You. What you were saying?
I was gonna say it declined for about 50 years after Ahsoka's rule and dissolved in 185 BCE with the assassination of, I guess, one of its last leader and the
Oh,
foundation of a new dynasty.
didn't survive that long. I was talking about like the architecture here. It's kind of some interesting architecture. Um,
That does look
kind
very unique.
of looks like an igloo in a way, like a big igloo. This in this
Uh,
circular formation.
a bit, yes, and it's like a bit. I agree.
Yeah. Um, didn't seem like it really much was happening. Just looks kind of there.
Right,
Um,
especially since it was kind of like a loose knit empire.
yeah. So for me, I'm gonna probably put it like C tier above Korea. It's there. Where are you putting
Probably
it?
will put probably put mine in D tier
Um,
above
where?
the Mamluks.
Oh, it looks fair. Fair. Next, the Mayan empires. That says empires.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's now we're talking. Mayan Empire. This got some big stuff. Like, I mean, first I guess before we can look at the map, we can take a look at the temple. We got a nice big temple here.
yes, we do. The
Uh,
aliens built that.
used for the aliens, human sacrifice. Kind of casual stuff. Early history, classical period. So pretty interesting stuff. Um, okay, let's get the map up.
Of course,
So,
it's modern day Yucatan Peninsula
yep, the good
in
old Yucatan.
Mexico. Let's see.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course, we
s-
know the Mayan calendar comes from here.
yeah, which is also very influential,
Yes,
especially if you're a person that was around 2012.
I remember December 21st, 2012.
December 21st, 2012. Everyone thought the world was going to end because the Mayan calendar ended on December 21st of 2012. But what they didn't realize was that it is what it is, and they just stopped writing.
They're like, yeah, I'm head out.
Yeah, like I mean, think about from 900 AD, like 600 to 900 AD, and you're just still writing. It's
I
pretty crazy.
must finish the I must finish the
I
story.
must finish the calendar. It must go on. Now we're sitting here, 2024. Obviously, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was
How
mass hysteria.
how how long is it going to take?
Man. Actually, here's this difference between the Aztec Empire and the Mayan Empire. So, like, they have some different ideas, um,
Yes.
but very differences, especially when it goes towards their temples.
But
Similar.
similarity,
Yeah.
they were conquered by the Spanish.
Yep. Again, it is what it is.
They so
Um,
I don't even remember really ever hearing about how if the Mayans ever really gave any resistance to the Spanish.
yeah, they kind of just like, yep, do it. We're done. So,
Ooh,
um,
rip the Mayan Empire.
for me, I'd say from the meme, I'd say probably it's up in B, especially the influence of the calendar in relation to what happened.
I think that's a fair placement. I'll also put it in B for mine.
Top or
Yeah, top.
all right. Now we get to the Mexico. See, okay, now we're getting to some empires that we know. Like, at least we know slightly. Um,
True,
yeah.
true.
The Mexican Empire. Good old Mexico.
The Mexican Empire was honestly a pretty large empire.
Yeah, it was actually like pretty huge. Like looking at it, like oh my goodness, that is
Like I can't,
pretty decent chunk.
I can't deny like the
Yeah.
fact that they controlled from as far south as like Central America all the way to as far north as
So
California. That's
first,
impressive.
first things first, getting independence from the Spanish. Yeah,
Yes, that's impressive that
that's
they're able to
impressive in
do that.
itself. Going to war against Texas, going to war against the United States.
You know, that was a bold move
It was
trying to
bold.
fight trying to fight the United States.
Yeah, and then losing all that land and then having just basically where Mexico is now. But
Yes, but that was during the Mexican American War.
yeah, but yeah, I'd say that they just got guts. And even talking about their flag here is like the eagle and the snake, which is the story of the Aztecs. So
It's true. It's
yeah,
really cool, which is I think is
very good
really cool that
history.
yes.
Um, here's actually a better one. Also, it's based in Mexico City, if I could find it. It's like somewhere here. Based off in Mexico City, which is the place where Tenochtitlan used to be. So it's just built over. So,
Yep.
yeah,
It's like
very,
they really stuck with the Aztec roots.
yeah. So definitely, you gotta give them credit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do give them credit.
So, I would say I was gonna dog on this empire because I feel like just being destroyed by the base Americans, but I think I would at least put it like right here, C tier, because they did some cool things,
Yeah, C tier
especially
for me because
we're at C.
like I'm gonna put them below the Mali Empire.
Right here. Yeah, makes sense.
They just unfortunately got gutted by the Americans.
Usual American practices, like you just can't beat the allegations.
A little bit of manifest destiny never hurt, right?
Oh, well, that good old manifest destiny.
Yep.
Next, the Ming Dynasty. Actually, this was the last Chinese dynasty
Yes, it was the
of
last
China.
Chinese dynasty.
Um, yeah, so this is the last actual Chinese dynasty until what was the last one? The Qing Empire.
Well,
Which,
The Qing Empire was not ruled by ethnic Han Chinese. They
yeah,
were ruled by um,
like the
the
Manchus.
yes,
Yeah, it was like up here.
like northern China.
And what I remember,
You
at
know,
least like from old history classes, at least for the Ming Empire, it was very influential in what it did. Um,
yeah.
it had
It,
like different ideas of philosophy, religion.
this is when Beijing was named to Beijing,
Yeah.
and the Forbidden City was also constructed during the reign of the
Yes.
Ming Empire. Um, the Ming Empire came out of the fall of the Yuan dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
and very interesting is that uh, the fall of the Ming dynasty, even though it happened in 1644,
Mm-hmm.
um, a bunch of remnants of the Ming imperial family went went south and called themselves the Southern Ming, which survived actually until 1662. So
Yeah.
while the dynasty officially fell in 1644, still lasted about 20 some more years.
Mm. Nice. Yeah, like I feel like it definitely has a big influence, especially on it being the last Chinese empire, and also the different like text paintings, especially like you get like the main Chinese paintings, some poetry, yeah. Music like
So we also
this this Pipa.
Ooh,
So
that's kind of cool.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Um.
We also see too relations between the Ming Empire and Tibet,
Mm,
which of course only good things happened, like in all Chinese history between Tibet and China.
usual things.
Yes.
I would say this is probably. I would put it at B. Oh yeah, so this is the back to the Forbidden City. Super cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I would probably put it in B tier. I'd probably put it up here, especially at least its influence.
That's fair. I think I agree with you in the B tier as well.
Top or middle.
I'd put it in the middle,
Like
below the Hittites.
boy, I can take that. Now we got the Mongol Empire.
Just based for me.
Yeah. I really even need to look it up. Uh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that
So
mighty force.
it's so beautiful.
I just want to make this a little more dramatic. Would you say this is even an accurate representation of it?
Yes, that
Yeah.
is that is accurate. That is
Yeah,
like the furthest
it's
extent.
based. It's based. Uh, see, it's not as based as Macedonia, but it is based.
For me, it's the base of all base.
It's based of all base. Yeah, I can take
Yes.
that. Yeah, Mongols did their thing.
Creating like the largest empire ever.
Yeah, like this is huge. This is like bigger than Europe. Like I mean, obviously bigger than Europe, but yeah, like man, it's like gigantic. Way bigger than what Alexander did, but I still like Alexander.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, it's biased. I don't care. Sue me. Pick your own tier list.
Make your own tier list.
Yeah, make your own tier list and do 3-part series. Morocco.
Very. It was actually one of the first African nations to recognize the United States as an independent nation, and actually has
That's
one of the
high.
oldest treaties with the United States as well.
Put that. Yeah, that's high up. That's high. That makes it high up. Is this accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. So yeah, it's got a pretty decent portion of Africa, and again, we were talking about with Morocco with the French. So I'm assuming it's going to lead to Morocco getting controlled by the French at some point.
Yes. Eventually, the French do invade. I
The French
believe
do.
right before World War One is when the French invade.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here, let's see what they got cooking. Shout out Wikipedia, by the way.
The free online encyclopedia.
It really is. Um, yeah, so he says European influence here. Napoleonic Wars. Um, uh, Stuff like that. So, and they conquered Algeria in the Franco-Moroccan War, 1544. The bombardment of Tangiers in the Battle of Isly, the bombardment of Mogador. So, um, that's basically what happened to them. So,
I find this very interesting. Morocco is just a very interesting
Morocco
nation to
is
me,
interesting, yeah, 100%. I was like,
especially too because they archaeologists have found fossilized bones from Homo sapiens 400,000 years old.
which is very interesting there. So, and also it's definitely like one of those like places off the coast, which like think about like the slave trade, where like they would have them in the slave, they would put enslaved Africans in slave castles, which I'm not sure if they're not exactly in Morocco, but they're usually always off the coast here, to be sent to wherever they go.
Morocco is also where the Allies invaded Africa initially
Mm,
to kind of start the end of World War II in Europe.
yes. For me, I would say it's probably a good beat. It's a solid beat here. I'd probably put it right here. It's not as good. Actually, I'd say it's probably better than Ming Dynasty. Yeah.
Fair enough. I can see that. I can see why.
Where are you putting it?
I think I'm going to. For me, I think I'm going to put it in the C tier.
C tier.
Yeah.
Where exactly?
I'll put it below the Inca.
Below the Inca. Yeah, see. The Inca's based. The Mongols.
The
The
Mughals.
Mughals. The Mughals.
They're actually really cool. I really like them. They're cool.
Mongol. Oh yeah, I definitely could agree with that too. Like I think they're a pretty solid empire. Definitely like very influential in itself.
Yes, I mean they united
Um,
pretty much all of India.
Not mistaken, isn't this also where the one leader built the Taj Mahal?
Yes, I believe Taj Mahal was built under the Mughal Empire's rule.
Yes. So I mean that's definitely one of the. Is it a wonder of the world? I don't think it is.
I don't
Is it?
think so. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. But let's
It's a
just say for
wonder of the world
simplicity.
to me, however.
Yeah, it's a wonder of the world to me. That's right. I'm trying to find a good map here. I'd say it's pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah, pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, we know what's going to happen. British things.
I mean, the Mughals fell before the British arrived.
Yeah, so yeah. Um, um, let's see what they got cooking. Definitely,
They
they're
do be cooking.
definitely good on the terms of having, um, like architecture. Terms of
Yes.
of the Taj Mahal.
But
So history, um, causes of decline. Okay. Historians have offered numerous explanations for the rapid collapse of the Mongol Empire between 1707 and 1720. Um, it says empire lost authority as the widely scattered imperial offices lost confidence in the central authorities, made their own deals with local men of influence. You know, a series of violent political feuds over control of the throne after the execution of Emperor Farrukshahsir in 1719. Local Mongol successor states took power of the region. So basically, just a lot of power grabbing.
yeah,
So, um,
no,
yeah, I would say it's pretty
yeah,
solid empire though. I'd say I like it.
it is. And it was formally dissolved by the British Raj after the Indian Rebellion of 1857.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say I probably put top B for me.
I'm going to put it at the top of A tier for me.
Top of A. Ooh. Past Japan. Actually, I would probably put it right here. I'm trying to think about it.
Actually, no, switch Japan and the Mughal empires for me. There you
Yeah,
go.
see. Yeah, yeah. All right, our final one for this episode, because this is getting way too long. Napoleonic Empire. Oh yeah, I know where I'm putting this, but I'm looking it up anyways. Napoleonic Empire. Oh yeah. Get that map.
The First French Empire.
Yeah. All right. This is like French Empire at its finest here. This is what France is known for. Would you say this is? Actually no. Wait, would you say
No, that's accurate.
is accurate? Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this thing. Oh yeah.
I
Um.
mean, Napoleon was the one that ended the Holy Roman Empire.
That's right. I mean, he always up in base for me because of that. He. Oh, whoops. He. There's the French Revolution, killing the king and queen, then Robespierre's France, and then here comes Napoleon. First, Napoleon was loved by all people of France. Like he had really no one against him. His army loved him. The people loved him. Like he was like known as like the next good big king of France. And I say some people didn't like it. Some I don't know nobility and monarchies all around like Austria, Britain, stuff like that. And um,
They were like, no.
no, he's like, no, this can't happen. They're like, a peasant.
How
Uh,
dare.
so, um, first things first, base Napoleon did his killing spree, winning a lot of battles too. Like was great military genius wise, and after he lost the first time, he got exiled, came back, based, and lost again. Where he basically got exiled to Corsica, which also gave rise to the French Republic.
Yep. The second
Second
French
French
Republic, I
Republic.
think.
Yeah, the second French Republic, because this was basically kind of, I'm going to say this is technical empire monarchy style.
Yes. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a base for me. Just Napoleon's just base for me.
I will
Um,
say, I forget if Napoleon did this or this was before Napoleon, but they created their own calendar, the French Republican calendar.
yeah, I think that was in the first French Republic. I want to say
I,
because I think they wanted to get away from the Christian one because they're like all for like independence and not for religious like tie downs.
I just find that part like really weird. It's like
Um,
because it's like they're also trying to base themselves like the Romans, even though I don't understand the French.
yeah,
Anyways,
we don't understand. No one would ever understand the French. Well, where are you putting the Napoleonic Empire?
I'll put it at the end of base tier.
I would support that. All right. By next episode, we should finish all of this, right? I would say we can by next episode.
Hopefully, we'll
So this
see.
is we are going on part 3 of 86 empires around the world.
Holy cow! What a time to be alive.
What a journey this has been. I can't wait to
Well,
get to that North Sea Empire.
the Russian Empire is gonna be interesting for me.
Oh, same with Rome. Yeah, like we get some big ones. Some of the ones, at least I think by the end, we don't really know too much, but some of them are pretty hype. But all
We're gonna
right,
finish out with some bangers.
thank you, Connor, for coming back. We're gonna see both of us next week again. This is my tier list. This is Connor's. If you liked part 1, or if you watched part 1, and now you're gonna watch this one, comment, subscribe. We're gonna go do part 3 next week. Hopefully, we have Fish back with us. Um,
Who knows?
who knows? This is the Empire tier list, baby. The things that anything happens now. All right, that's it for us. I'll see you next week. Peace.